Hello and welcome back to our little farm. Today we're going to do a little bit of a cage. Well, yeah, a bit of a cage for our gerbil midnight. So we have 4 gerbils and unfortunately they declanned, which means they fought with each other, drew blood, and now unfortunately we have 4 separate gerbils. So we have 2 boys and then we have 2 girls. So this is going to be Midnight's new digs. I just get containers from Walmart or Canadian Tire or different places like that. And this would probably be the smallest I would recommend. I like to get the clear plastic so you can see what's happening inside the cage. So in order for them to have airflow in their cage, I did purchase these already cut out metal screens. And I just got them on Amazon. It's like a package of 4 for like 10 bucks. You can get it from a local hardware store, probably for cheaper. But I like the fact that they are already cut. I didn't have to cut it myself. So first, I'm going to do a little measurement here. I'm just going to kind of mark off the corners where I want it. I mean, I'm not really that particular, like it's a gerbil cage. I'm not like a perfectionist on this section, but, and then I'm going to use an X-Acto knife. So over here are the supplies I'm going to be using for this X-Acto knife. I'm going to cut this square out. I have a glue gun and I'm going to glue this on the inside. Now, I don't think we have to worry about the gerbils chewing on it at all. And then at the end, we're going to drill 2 little holes with the drill here to be able to stick the water bottle hanger in, which we'll see later on. All right, so I'm going to get going and do my best to get this. So I got this out, cut it out. So the reason I'm doing the screen on the inside is because sometimes the gerbils jump on top of their wheel or something, they start chewing on the plastic. And so I'm thinking this will deter them from that. I mean, most of the time, they'll never get to the top of this. So I'm not really concerned, but just in case. So now I'm using a glue gun. I'm just going to glue around here and put on our screen. Now we will clean the cage and get all this, anything that could possibly be toxic to the gerbils. We'll let this dry. Like I said, I'll have to, again, doesn't look the best, but it's for my gerbil. And you know what? You get better with practice. So the next time, it'll be better. From other experience I've had with hanging this in, you want it fairly high because the bottle sinks down in here and you don't want it touching the bedding because then it'll leak everywhere. So I'm just going to do a little bit of a mark kind of where I need to drill here with this. Well, you know what? I'm just going to do it from the outside here. And again, we're aiming for functionality, not perfection. So, okay. So, gonna get out my drill, aka my husband's drill. I don't own a drill, but he's let me borrow it. Oops. See, I actually brought in a tape measure just in case I felt like I need to be specific. But, nah. Okay, so I already got the drill bit that I wanted. I'll get it pushed against the wall here. This could be terrible. That's my first hole. And going for number 2. Okay, now, normally we find that we cannot get these actually in the holes right away. So we will give it up. That's literally the first time that's ever happened. Okay, so now we have our bottle holder in here. We have our lid. Now, I usually, if I find the gerbil cages seem to be a little bit humid, I can add in, I'll drill in a few more holes on the top, just for airflow. So, I'm just going to drill a couple holes. I can honestly say that this is a much more functioning, better cage in my opinion. And I've had gerbils for 30 years. Not the same gerbils, but I've had gerbils for 30 years. And I can honestly say I've used these cages for 20 plus years. And I've had the same cage for 10 years easily. And they work really well. Now you have some gerbils that like to chew more than others, so you might have to replace it in time, but it's pretty good. So I'm just going to leave it like this for now. Occasionally you will have a crack. Sometimes you can just glue the crack or tape the crack and it'll fit fine. You know what? If you get more of a rubbery top, like a Rubbermaid, it might not be as cracky, but these are like the hard plastic. So when you apply pressure, they do crack. It does happen, but they're still quite functional, like I said. So I don't think it's a big deal. But so we are now going to clean this up, and then I will introduce. Hello. So now we have this cage is washed. It's ready for our new friend Midnight. So I have already placed in here some aspen bedding. We usually recommend aspen, we meaning me and some other gerbil people, because it doesn't have the strong flavor that pine or the scent as pine and cedar. That being said, you can also use kiln dried pine chips as well, because they're also safe for gerbils. So they don't have much of a smell, and they're meant for small animals. Although everything marked for small animals doesn't necessarily mean it's for small animals. Okay, so this is a pretty large wheel. You do not need a wheel this excessive. In fact, some people have mixed reactions on wheels. I have never in my life had an issue in 20 plus years of getting your gerbils. Never had an issue with a wheel and a tail. I never, ever. So, like I said, it's quite large. I mean, my only concern is if they make this, and then they end up chewing on the top. So that's just something you have to monitor with your gerbils at all times. We do have the water bottle here. We place it in there. Again, you can, if you notice that it keeps falling, you just add in a strap here. It comes with a little metal thing. I find that a little complicated to use in a plastic cage, but it can be done. But we just use a tie of sorts on the side there. I also use paper bedding. So this is Carefresh small pet bedding. I mean, that's the name brand. You can go with an off-brand, like from Walmart. Cheap, that's cool. You can just use paper, white paper. My gerbils, I used to use colored paper. Some people have, again, thoughts on that, but yeah. You know, everybody has thoughts on everything. So, I'm going to add in quite a bit. They love to tunnel, and we might add a bit from his other cage as well, just to carry on his scent. They're all big on his scents. Then he knows it's his cage. So, I'll probably do that as well. I mean, sometimes I use food bowls for my gerbils, sometimes I don't. I mean, to be honest, they just forage for their food anyway, so it's not really a big deal. Here we go. And again, I'm probably going to add in another bunch of some of his old bedding. Okay, so right here is Mr. Midnight. Hello, Midnight. Now, my gerbils are they love to be handled. They are honestly some of the best pets I can ever recommend. Like, now they're not necessarily great for small kids because they are quite fast, especially when they're really young. This guy is about 3 months, 2.5, 3 months old now. But super sweet, super duper sweet. We got him on New Year's Eve. All right, buddy. This is your new digs. Enjoy. Give you some food and everything later. All right? All right. Thanks for joining in.